Ladies, can you just watch something with me? I think I about blew a fuse doing it alone.
That bad?
Worse.
I rarely see you this rattled.
I'll watch it with you if you think it will help.
I mostly just want to double-check my hearing and make sure I understood the whole thing.
All right, let's see it then.
With 20 bucks, what are your thoughts on the generation of men born in the early 90s compared to now? I'm sure World War II has something to do with it, but so many people still hold these men in high regards as the toughest in recent times.
What, men born in the 90s?
In the early 90s. Or, oh, I'm sorry. The early 1900s. Excuse me.
I mean, let's be honest, all right? All respect to our veterans and stuff, but our generation, this room right here, has seen a couple of pandemics that would have stopped the whole earth 100 years ago.
He's not seriously going where I think he's going.
It gets worse.
Before that, though, can we just bring up the Spanish flu of 1918?
You mean the pandemic that killed around 50 million people?
Yeah, that one. So, he's already wrong.
Question, am I going to get mad if we keep watching this?
Livid.
Good to know.
And we're currently looking at 2 world wars. I think we're
Come
pretty
closer
tough.
to the microphone. Say that again.
Got you.
Currently looking at 2 world wars.
My understanding is that due to the nature of a world war, you can kind of only have one at a time.
Careful. His 2 brain cells might fizzle out if you make him think about it.
So, I'm gonna put it like this. I got all respect for those who served in World War II. I got all respect for people who are older than me, whatever, right? But I'm gonna be honest, to keep saying that generation is the strongest, bravest, sure. They can walk into some gunfire and not give a f. But to say they're the strongest, I disagree strongly.
Yeah.
I can assure you, I cared a great deal every time I had to enter a stream of gunfire.
I think most of us would agree.
You just have to learn to ignore your basic survival instincts.
My generation, every generation in this room right now
COVID.
has faced COVID. Not just COVID, we faced, a good 3 or 4 different pandemics that 100 years ago would have stopped the earth completely.
What other pandemics?
There was COVID, there was a secondary form of COVID that came out, SARS.
Yeah.
Bird flu.
Bird flu. There was
flu.
swine flu, yep, there was that. There's quite a few that we've seen.
He's not serious, is he?
Pretty sure he is.
I mean, some of those other pandemics were problems, but to suggest they were worse than full-tilt global war.
No, obviously COVID making people have to stay inside for a few months is so much worse than being bombed every single day. Right, Spitty?
Indeed, the Blitz was but a minor inconvenience by comparison.
I'm detecting sarcasm.
So much sarcasm.
Sriracha shortage.
We've seen Afghanistan's war, we've seen the Iraq
9/11.
war, 9/11, we've seen this whole Russian-Ukraine, this whole Israel situation. Like, I'm gonna be honest, yeah, you guys were brave. You guys, congrats, you walked into gunfire, you made it, you came home, but I'm gonna be honest, we're seeing a lot more that shouldn't be ending us right now.
Possible wars and fear-mongering is truly so much worse than having explosions outside your doorstep every day.
My heart bleeds for this imbecile.
We were talking to a Vietnam vet who's been over in Vietnam in the swamps in the rain, almost losing his feet, getting blown up with landmines, getting tortured by a Viet Cong.
Yeah.
Tell him about this age now, what we got to deal with.
All right. You want to know about this age, my man?
Yeah.
He's not seriously going to answer that, is he?
I heard Vietnam.
Hey, Phantom. Just so you know, you're welcome to stay, but you're going to get really, really mad.
What? Why?
This is how you put it.
Yep.
I live in an age of time where the reality of war is so distant from the actual person itself, it is insane until you go and talk to the victims. In your time, my man, an American person would look in the paper, see someone suffering, and actually feel for it. And these days, we've been so used to all this crazy shit, all this death, all this destruction, that we barely care anymore. You're the last generation that gave a shit about war, that gave a shit about what happens with it. My generation, we don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
These days, we got computers to shove in our face to forget it. We've got, just a myriad of ways to just ignore it. And it's sad that back then we were more informed than we are today.
We've got it a little bit rougher now, I think.
Rougher.
Yep.
And I think in the grand scheme of things, not even just rougher, but the roughness has become hyper defined in a way. To where it's a little out of control.
Yeah.
And I would absolutely love to see the world kind of revert back a little bit, maybe step back, take it back to the times of being in reality and knowing what the fuck's going on actually, instead of having people that follow one person's word and end up looking stupid at the end of the day when they go talking shit and that shit ain't legit.
This man is suggesting the American public was well informed about everything that went down in Vietnam.
Do you disagree?
Unless you were there, you don't know anything. This idiot has every bit of information he could ever want at his fingertips. All the people knew back during the Vietnam War was their sons were dying and they didn't understand why.
You seem upset.
I'm going to launch a missile at his house.
It's like this. It's like if you were Japanese in 1945, if you're in Hiroshima or Nagasaki, you got blown up. But if you weren't, you at least knew,
Yeah.
it was easier.
You at least knew about it.
Yep.
There was a lot
so-
of unknowns back then.
Excuse me?
Yep.
Excuse me.
Let the hate flow through you, Zero.
I beg your finest pardon.
I think Zero is about to attack Pearl again.
Metaphorically speaking.
Does this idiot have any idea how little our people were told during the war?
Probably about as much as ours.
And how much was that?
Only convenient truths followed by a load of lies.
Exactly.
I would go so far as to say that people back then, I wouldn't say that they're cowards, but I would say comparatively they kind of are cowards.
Kind of, yeah.
Yep.
That's all I can stomach.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure I had a right to be angry.
I'd be shocked if you weren't.
Is this the America you two fought for?
Please don't ask me that ever again.
Yeah, I'd rather not speak on that subject.
Maybe I should send Oka to his house.
She'd like that.
2 birds, 1 atrocity.
Death comes for us all. Why wait? We